an era when kings were beheaded at the guillotine. While nobles partied, others died without even a piece of bread. And eventually, that fury exploded. In the late 18th century, France looked glamorous on the outside, but inside, it was rotting away. Lavish feasts filled the palace, and Marie Antoinette lived for luxury and parties. But the common people could barely afford one meal a day. And then, there was the issue of taxes. The nobles and clergy paid almost none. The entire burden fell on the Third Estate, the commoners. To make things worse, a famine began in 1788. The people's patience was at its limit. King Louis XVI, desperate to fix the financial crisis, called the Estates General for the first time in 175 years. Three groups gathered: the nobility, the clergy, and the commoners. But the voting system was rigged. Each estate got one vote, not one person. Even though commoners made up 98% of the population, they had only one vote. Infuriated, the Third Estate walked out. They declared themselves the National Assembly. And then, in a historic moment known as the Tennis Court Oath, they declared, "We are the real France." On July 14th, 1789, Parisians stormed the Bastille prison. There were barely any political prisoners inside, but the Bastille symbolized royal authority. With weapons in hand, the people broke through the gates, shouting for freedom. The fortress collapsed. To this day, that moment is celebrated as France's National Day. The revolution had begun, and there was no turning back. Later that year, the National Assembly issued the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. All men are born free and equal, not just words, a message powerful enough to shake the world. But the royal court remained unchanged. So the people rose up again, marching to Versailles Palace, shouting, "Give us bread!" The king and queen were dragged out by the crowd. Louis XVI tried to flee, but was caught near the border. He was put on trial, and in 1793, executed by guillotine. His final words, "I am innocent!" But the people cried, "We starved, we paid the taxes, this is your fault!" The monarchy was gone. France became a republic. But a new question arose. Who would now lead the nation? At the center stood a lawyer and leader of the Jacobins, Maximilien Robespierre. He believed, virtue without terror is meaningless. Terror without virtue is impossible. And so began the Reign of Terror. Anyone who opposed him lost their heads, literally. Dozens were executed each day. But in 1794, Robespierre himself was overthrown and met the same fate at the guillotine. The revolution had devoured its own child. France was thrown into chaos. The people longed for stability. That's when Napoleon Bonaparte emerged. A brilliant strategist with unmatched charisma, he seized power in a coup, and by 1804, declared himself emperor. Ironically, the country that had killed a king now crowned an emperor. The French Revolution toppled the monarchy, but left behind blood and turmoil. Yet it gave birth to something greater: liberty, equality, fraternity. A set of universal values that still guide us today. Modern democracy and civil rights. They all began with this fierce revolution. The French Revolution wasn't just a rebellion. It was a voice that changed the world.